hosts, guests, and contributors and are not those of WKYU-TV, its management, or WKU.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Another episode of Topper Talk has been bestowed upon you guys. And, well, Topper Talk, every episode, we always celebrate at mid-court, no matter what, right, guys? Just like MTSU Saturday.
We like to rush the floor after every episode, and we don't care.
We
All
don't
right.
shake hands or nothing. We just
That's right.
go celebrate.
I am Sean Williams, along with my cohorts in crime here. Go ahead, Woody.
Woody White.
Adam, Haley.
And, of course, we got lots of basketball to talk about, really, and
It's March Madness time.
Exactly. Before we get into that, though, last week we said Jim McDaniels was going to be here. He was unable to be here this week due to personal health issues, so he will be on the show on a future date. So look forward to that, definitely.
We've got some other guests lined up, too, to come on. I know Todd Stewart wants to come on at some point, Ty Rogers, some other guys that we've been talking to.
Dennis Rodman wants to come on and talk about his North Korea trip, too.
Exactly, yeah. So a lot of characters going to be on the show, especially after basketball season when things slow down for them. And then it'll be pretty entertaining to get some of those guys
for sure.
on
Yeah.
here.
Be good.
Get George and TJ to talk about his missed dunk, like I was saying before the game.
Yeah, what about that? I heard something about that today.
Hopefully we can stay away from those in Hot Springs, for sure.
Well, George sometimes does have a problem finishing around the
Go
basket.
big or go home.
Anyway.
It's all right.
It's all right. So we got lots of basketball to talk about. Let's get into it. This past week, a win against South Alabama, really good. Start off on Thursday.
Yeah, big-time win.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
South Al's going to be the 3 seed for the tournament this week, and, they beat us down there, and, we get the revenge on them in the home game. Augustine Rubin had a big game for him. He's probably going to be the Sun Belt Player of the Year. We'll see what happens.
Guys pretty much unguardable. At least there wasn't nobody on our team
He's
that
got some
could
really
guard him.
sweet neon salmon peach colored
I took a
shoes that
picture
he
of
wears.
that.
I don't know where in the world he got those.
I saw those. I wasn't at the game on Thursday because I had to work, but whenever I was watching on TV when they were playing down in Mobile. I saw those shoes, and I think Randy Lee was trying to figure out what color they were. But
I'm sure
they're atrocious.
Commentary on those were pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think salmon would probably be the correct.
That's what I went with, was
that.
neon salmon. I don't know if that's even real, but that's what
I took a picture though. Took an up close picture of those, put them on the website. So if you guys want to check those out, go to wku.rivals.com. So
well, probably, hopefully, if things go well Friday night, that's who we'll be matching up with Saturday. So you might get to see the shoes again.
Yeah, the shoes.
Maybe you may go with some neon like crazy blue or something. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. But yeah, I mean, really good showing against South Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as shooting and offensive flow and everything like that. I mean, it was a really good outing. Like I said, we couldn't stop Augustine Rubin, but I mean, not a lot of people can.
If you let Rubin get his, you can shut down everybody else. You're gonna have a pretty good chance against South Alabama.
Yeah, he's going to get his every game, and you just got to let the other guys try to shut him down. Rubin's going to get his every single game because he's a stud.
It's a man child.
I wish we had somebody like that, for coming in next year for Western, but we don't.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you what though, look out for Alex Rostov. He's coming on, man.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that one.
When I was watching Alex in the beginning of the season, and it's kind of like, well, you got frustrated at him because he looked lost, but you got to remember that this kid's a freshman.
He had been in America for like 4 months.
Yeah, and he's starting to shape up. He's looking pretty good, and next year I think he's going to be pretty solid.
His touch and his intelligence in the lane is as good as any freshman that I've seen here in a while.
Yeah, he does it like we were talking about during the game. He can finish. I mean, when he gets around the basket, he's got a nice touch, and it's going to help out Western. George, he's strong around the basket, but he still hasn't found that just finishing, easy shots. We saw, actually, he missed 2 the other night that would have been huge down the stretch. But, it comes with time. George is just a sophomore. So we got a couple of young guys down there that could have a big year next year.
I think so.
It seems like you can see it throughout the season, though. Rostov just keeps getting more and more confident as the season goes on.
Definitely.
I mean, he looks pretty comfortable out there, and in his element. He's hustling, and he even did the tarantula the other night against Middle Tennessee, going after a loose ball.
I love that.
Well, it's a wrestling move, man. A wrestling bit over here, on WWE style.
I still think we need to get Rostov a nickname.
We do. We need to work on that.
Fans, y'all come up with some nicknames and tweet at us for Alex. I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
Tweet us at our Topper Talk account at Topper Talk and give us some Alex Rostov nicknames for us throughout the show, and we'll check those out. We'll probably share them on air.
The best ones will get on air. Y'all can do this.
Yeah,
man.
come on. Y'all can do this, Topper Nation. Get with it. But anyway, going back to the South Al game, I mean, we were up 62-48 in the second half. That was our biggest lead, was 14, and then, of course, South Al made a little comeback there. They cut it to about 3 with about 1:40 left, and we were able to close the game out. I mean, T.J. Price and George Fant, they hit some clutch free throws there at the end of the game when they needed to. They might not converted 2 of 2, but they converted 1 of 2, and that was enough to keep it a 2-possession game for the Toppers, and they were able to prevail. So
it's funny how free throws have been a big part of these past 2 games. Our free throw defense is kind of a mythical thing. When you look at South Al, they shot 21 of 25 from the free throw line against us, and then MTSU shot 18 of 19 against us. So that makes a difference in a lot of games. Hopefully that'll turn our way.
Do you blame the student section for that, for not having?
I'm mad that the swim team didn't show up with their Speedos on Sunday, guys.
Swim team wasn't there.
I thought you guys were going to do that. I mean,
I told you nobody wants to see that.
Y'all just not have enough shaving cream or what?
I use it all on my face, man. It took a lot to get all that up there.
Yeah, Woody's looking silky smooth in the facial area.
Trying to get my best going for Hot Springs.
Yeah, he's going down there.
I got my teeth cleaned today. My sister in the dental hygiene department upstairs.
You doing some speed dating down there? Because they don't really like clean teeth down there in Arkansas.
That's true. Arkansas is kind of a backwards little place. We'll see what happens.
Sorry for anybody out there.
If you're from Arkansas, we're
just clowning, okay? Jeez. But all right, I guess I'll go back to the game again. We keep going off track.
It's all good.
But you're talking about free throws. Another good thing Western's been doing pretty much most of the year is bench play. I mean, they outscored the Jaguars 30-7 with the bench. I mean, getting really good minutes, like you said, from Rostov, and Harris is coming off the bench. He had another big game with 12 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Definitely got my Captain Hustle award on that game.
If he keeps hitting 3 or 4 threes every game like he has been past couple of games, we're going to be looking pretty good this weekend, I think.
And, I thought Okaro Akamene did a really good job. He got some quality minutes coming off.
It was huge that night, especially with Ting being out now. Him and Kenny are both having to step up, and Drain even, too. And, with the production we get out of those 3 is going to be pretty big this week.
Drain got a point, so, I mean, it's good. He produced.
He produces anything. It's better than nothing.
But, yeah, I mean, a hot shooting night for Western by far. I mean, they shot about 48% from the field, 47% from three-point range. So, I mean, it was a really good shooting night.
That'll get it done most of the time.
And we've been talking, I know this goes back like 2 months ago when we started talking, well, when we get Jamal back, then our shooters are going to be able to get some better shots. And, I mean, you kind of tell by the last 4 or 5 games. I don't know the difference in three-point shooting percentage, but it's got to be at least 10 points higher.
I heard we were shooting 31% without Jamal, and we're up to like 38 with Jamal now.
Yeah,
that's like 6 points a game right there.
Yeah, so it's definitely helped out with the return of him, which we've already touched on in a couple episodes.
That too, and I think TJ has started to get in the lane a lot more too. I've noticed, especially his past 2 games, he's been driving almost at will, and that's setting up Brandon, that's setting up Kevin Casper a lot, and they're getting a lot of open looks with that.
Think about TJ. You were talking about that driving the lane. I mean, seems like early in the season, whenever he would just kind of settle for three-point shots, and he would, shoot 35-footers, and, he's athletic enough to drive the lane, and it seemed like he was settling too much for three-point shots and outside shots when he can easily just drive the lane and create his own shot, get to the free throw line, and, even pass to an open guy. So.
Yeah. I mean, 2 games against South Al and MTSU are 2 of the better defensive teams in the conference. You got Michael Ammons that was on him for South Al. He's 6'6", really long, pretty athletic, and TJ was getting by him whenever he wanted. And then MTSU, who's top 10 defensively in the country, I think last I looked, he was the same thing, getting in the lane. When we made our run against MTSU, it was because TJ was creating off the dribble and had some nasty step-back jumpers and was just doing pretty much whatever he wanted there for about that 10-minute stretch.
I think what we're definitely starting to see and what we were hoping to see with these last 4 games was Western getting ready for the tournament. Yeah. And I think everything's falling together right now for us. Look at the shooting percentage is a lot better. Jamal's playing better now. For a couple games there when he first came back, he wasn't hitting many shots, but he's playing a lot better now. And then even George Fant, the last 4 or 5 games, you can tell that he's
been the George of the MVP of the tournament from last year.
Exactly. He's really stepped up. And, I mean, I don't know what Ray's been doing different in practice, or if everything's just finally, injuries, or everybody's getting healthy again, if everything's just coming back together for the Toppers. But I think we're really hitting the stride at the right time.
Sure. I think that's the way Ray coaches. We've said that a couple times is, everything he does is to direct it towards Hot Springs. And, obviously not necessarily the year we were all hoping for with this team. We had a little higher expectations than 16 and 15. But
I mean, a glue gun to stick these guys together.
Yeah,
some of the injuries we had.
Ray said in the post game the other night that there may not be a team in the history of college basketball that's had to deal with as much as we have. So to be over 500 right now, playing our best ball in March, I think that's all you can really ask for the way things have gone this year. So I'm excited to see how things are going to go this weekend. I kind of like our chances, I think.
Yeah, no, just to kind of finish out the season or the regular season. I mean, Saturday, we had a tough 62-70 loss to Middle Tennessee, but I mean that was that was kind of a scrapper game all game. I mean, it was tight. You could cut the tension with a knife, and tied at 62, and then Middle Tennessee goes on that run there at the end of the game. They just did a good job of closing it out. But I mean, you couldn't ask for a better performance in a loss by Western, in my opinion.
We saw the difference between their 7 seniors who were their key players and our 3 sophomores who are key players or whatever it is. But that's going to be a big learning experience, I think, for our guys going into the tournament this weekend, and then even going forward to the next couple of years, is because, as our guys get older, we're going to be the kind of team that MTSU has this year, I think. So, better to learn these lessons now as sophomores and freshmen than as a senior. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
go ahead.
Diddle was a lot of fun Saturday, man.
It was.
So give some props to the fans, for showing up. Obviously, Middle got a couple fans in there. They had about 700 or 800, I think.
Oh yeah, they had a lot. It was loud in there.
I mean, if I was 26-4, I'd travel and watch my team too.
That's the way it should be, though. I mean,
for a rivalry game like that.
We're playing Middle. I want Middle Tennessee fans to be in Diddle, and then I want to go to Middle Tennessee and be yelling loud.
Some of the most fun I've had as a Western fan is going into opposing team arenas and just being ridiculously foolish and trying to start as much crap as I can. Not too many people trying to mess with me since I'm kind of big. So
I say people probably once you stand up, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man."
They don't realize how soft he is.
I really am, but I'm kind of imposing just at first look, I guess.
Was he a little soft in the lane in high school ball?
I'm trying to drift to that corner and shoot the 3, just like Rosto, man.
Just like
that's why he's got a good.
You mean like Tinko?
Yeah, I won't go that far.
Ting.
I could get some rebounds.
That's good. At least you could grab some boards. That's good. So anyway, I mean, any other thoughts about the loss to Middle Tennessee? I mean, like I said, it was close. Like I said, the atmosphere at Diddle was great. It was fantastic. 2 rivals going at it, and I mean, like I said, Middle's the cream of the crop of the Sun Belt this year. They have a lot of seniors, 27-4. I mean, they're probably going to get an automatic bid. Their RPI is like 20.
If they don't get an
at-large or something like that,
there's something wrong with the system. They absolutely deserve to get in.
Yeah.
They've got good wins. They've got. I mean, even their losses are good losses. So, I mean, I think every team they've lost to, with the exception of maybe Ole Miss, depending on the way things go for them, is probably going to be in the tournament. So.
Yeah, and even if, like I said, even if they go down, and, we make fun of that too, even if they go down to the Sun Belt Conference and have Kermiditis and, lose in their first game, they'll still get a bid. So, I mean, this could potentially be a 2-bid league right here if Middle Tennessee doesn't, do their job in the Sun Belt tournament.
Yeah, I don't know if it takes MTSU getting to the championship or not to get in. I mean, you'd almost this year in college basketball, it's wide open. So since there's not as many dominant teams, I think
kind of a soft bubble.
The committee might look at letting a team like MTSU get in where they won it in years past. But I mean, what we've seen is good teams get left out, and I think MTSU would probably get left out if they don't make it to the championship. But kind of related to that, Timothy Kickert on Twitter just sent in a question, which brings up a good point. The North Texas game for MTSU with the return of what's his name?
Chris Jones, I believe is his name.
North Texas point guard. He'll be back for the tournament, and
they're kind of rolling lately.
North Texas they ended up the season. I mean the second part of their season was okay, nothing great. I mean they were still the 8 or not the 9 seed. But I think they could potentially match up well with MTSU. And, when you got one of the best players in the league on your team, then he could go off for 30 points. And
I mean, they're kind of a team that steps up for bigger games, too. They could just as easily lose to Louisiana Lafayette by 20 in the first round if they don't show up for that game, or they could show up and dominate that and then show up and beat MTSU.
Well, the good thing for them is not in the Cajun Dome. So.
Right. That is true.
They lost by like 35 earlier in the season.
Yeah, they have so many head-scratching losses. I mean, Monroe beat them twice. But, I mean, you can't knock Tony Mitchell and his talent. Anytime he wants to show up and dominate, he can do it. So
definitely got a lot of talent on that team. It's just one of those where it's kind of a talented team, but they just haven't put it all together this year.
It'll be an interesting matchup. I mean, and MTSU's the kind of team that, you know, they might just beat them by 30. You can't tell.
You never know.
It's going to be a fun tournament for sure.
There's a lot of good matchups in this tournament. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, there is. And then Western, of course, is going to be playing at 6 o'clock on Friday. And then the Lafayette, North Texas game is at 6:30. And if you haven't been to Hot Springs, in the convention center that they play in, there's 2 courts. One of them's the main gym that holds like 9,000 people. And then they have like another side,
court.
the ballroom, which is made for proms, high school proms in Hot Springs. They put a court in there somehow, and then
it's kind of cool.
How many seats are in there?
There's probably maybe 1,500 to 2,000.
It's smaller than most high school gyms around here.
Yeah, but it's a pretty cool little place to play. The thing about Hot Springs is, though,
how low is the ceiling? Is the ceiling low?
A good rainbow shot might catch the rafters.
Yeah, if you're not careful, it's like playing in a rec gym.
Knock off a tile.
Yeah, so you got to, but it is different. But the thing about that is, in Hot Springs, Western brings fans, MTSU brings fans, and North Texas brings fans.
I think it's going to be a year where you're going to see some good crowds down there because you got Arkansas State, who is right in the mix for it.
Of course, Arkansas always brings.
They're going to
both
have
Arkansas teams, and of course they never have to play in the small gym.
Yeah.
They always make it to where they play in the big gym. But it's going to be fun. And then also Friday night, the Florida Atlantic and Troy game is at 8:30.
I won't see many fans there for that one.
No, there probably won't be many people there for
travel
that.
well, I mean.
No, if the Florida teams seriously maybe send like 10 people
They'll
up.
send their band and the dance team.
Are they going to be like, Sunbelt? We're so over the Sunbelt.
Probably. I mean, they never bring anybody up there, but and Troy doesn't even have fans.
It's a long haul for
I think
them,
between MTSU, both Arkansas schools, South Al, us, and North Texas. North Texas always brings a good crowd.
North Texas always brings a really good crowd.
I think it's going to be a good year for the Sunbelt. You know, the last year in Hot Springs, wherever we're there or not.
Adios.
So,
yeah, this is the Hot Springs Swan Song.
Hopefully it'll be a good one.
I think it will. I'm glad it's getting out of Hot Springs. I love going there. It's a fun 7-hour drive from Bowling Green, and
It's fun.
me and Woody have been the last 4 years. This will be year number 5.
It's fun driving through Memphis.
I love Memphis. Don't even knock Memphis.
Okay.
It's weird that I like Memphis.
Just don't take a wrong turn.
That's a random
Just
story.
stop down there somewhere and get some barbecue on the way down.
Yeah.
Barbecue's where it's at.
It's true. Well, speaking of Swan songs, I'm just going to skip over this.
Segue.
So I need to come back. Jamal Crook.
Indeed.
Swan song for Jamal Crook. Last game at Diddle. Did really good. I mean, he had 10 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals. So, I mean, what do you guys think about Crook's career as a Hilltopper?
You know, I said it last week. It's cool that him and K1 Jakes are in the same class because their career paths have kind of been really similar. They've both had to take over teams probably before they were ready to take over teams. I've really enjoyed watching Jamal grow up as a player. You know, when he first started, you know, he was a guy that not a lot of schools were looking at. He didn't even sign with us till like late July, early August before the semester started. So, and he comes in and ends up being a huge part of the team from day one. And to see him not have any offensive game to being one of our better scorers now, and the offense flows with him playing. It's, you know, senior day always is cool to, you know, to think back about the memories of players and how they've grown and how they have impacted the team. You know, last year, Jamal was a huge part of our miracle run, you know, throwing out assists and hitting a couple jumpers here and there. And
yeah, that's really when he, I think his coming out party was last year's Sunbelt tournament.
I'm going to miss Jamal. You know, I was texting one of my friends at the game Saturday. Senior day is always emotional for me. I don't know. I've been here so long.
You need Kleenex?
I might. I get a little teary-eyed over here. But, you know, I don't know. It was good for, you know, I hate to go out on a loss, but for us to have a sellout crowd for him. I'd heard, I guess, if y'all have heard about this bad wreck that was on 65 on Saturday, Jamal's parents were caught in the traffic for that.
Oh, really?
They were able to make it. But, he had
that's not good.
I guess he had some friends here and everything, so it worked out all right. Shout out to Jamal's parents either way.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure they're watching.
Jabron, if you're watching, that's my boy. But I mean, even, you know, hopefully, you know, he's got a couple games left, and hopefully he'll make the most of them.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you can definitely tell in the post game. I think actually Shane asked him, you know, what do you think about your last game here at Diddle, and you know, he didn't really go into, you know, a big, you know, memories speech or anything like that. He's just like, he was sad that, you know, and disappointed that they got the loss. So I mean, that's kind of good, you know, to hear a senior say that, you know, because you want a senior to be affected by a loss, and you want him to be really motivated to get a win. So, you know, not exactly going out party with a W, but I mean, like I said, I mean, seeing him kind of develop into the player he is was really neat, you know, and see him be the leader of the team and, you know, develop that mid-range game and that mid-range jumper was key. And I mean, like I said, he's the floor general of this team, you know, because they struggled mightily whenever he was out. And just settling for three-pointers and nobody can penetrate and drive the lane and dish, kick out, go to the rim. And he can do all those things. So, you know, definitely a stellar career for Jamal Crook here on the Hill. So
I haven't looked at the numbers. I know he's in the top 7 all-time in assists. And I think if he had a couple more, he could end up getting in the top 5, I think, if I remember right. I mean, that's huge for a guy that not a lot of people expected a lot out of when he got here. So, you know, big props to him on a pretty solid career, and hopefully he can, you know, extend it a little bit more this week.
Yeah. So, you know, like I said, we want to kind of throw that in there because, I mean, you know, like I said, that's a big senior for us.
I'll give little Marcus Vasquez a quick little shout out too.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, doing his thing, coming in, you know, and playing the day after the bowl game. You know,
that's one of the cooler stories I can remember.
Yeah. I mean, for him and K1 to do that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and we really needed him then. Maybe not for games, but for practice. You know, there's really no telling what kind of impact he's made in practice because he's just tough and gritty.
Say what you want to. I mean, he didn't get a lot of minutes, but when he's in there, he's up in people's faces on defense. I mean, you know, and he's out there scrapping for rebounds.
I remember a quote that Ray said when he first talked Marcus into playing is, I don't know if it's appropriate for TV or nothing, but he said, we got a few too many nice guys on the team, and Marcus fills in that other side of that role, like in practice and everything. So, you know, there's always a need for that on the team.
There's a parental advisor that comes on for the show.
True.
So, I mean,
I got too much family watching. They wouldn't be doing with that one.
You better drop a cuss bomb.
No, not me.
Yeah, I know. I thought we was going to have to get the delay tapes out. Get the beeper ready, folks.
That'd be bad news.
Yeah.
All right, so, you know, I mean, where do you guys see Western ending up? Final predictions for the Sun Belt tournament?
I really think things are shaping up really good for us to get to the final again. Monroe, obviously, it'd be much easier to play 3 games in 3 days, but playing Monroe on that Friday, not to look past them or nothing, but it's as close to a bye game as you're going to get with actually having to play one. You know, there's no reason that shouldn't be another 15, 20-point win.
Yeah, it'd be nice to. Of course, Monroe's won 4 games this year. 3 of those were Sun Belt games, but
well, at least they weren't Grambling. They went 0-27.
That's bad. But if you can jump up on Monroe, and I don't want to look past them because I mean they have the ability just like anybody else to win a game.
You never know who can randomly go off for 30 points against Western. It seems like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to just get up on them, and then the second half kind of rest some guys.
Yeah.
And play some, Stephon Durain, some other guys that you'd like to. You might have to use them in the tournament because you never know what's going to happen. Foul trouble, somebody could get hurt playing 4 games in 4 days. So you just really need those guys to get some tournament experience under them. I think we're going to beat Monroe. Then we'll play South Al. We can beat South Al.
I mean, yeah, we just saw that Thursday. I'm fine with that matchup. It beats having to play MTSU or Arkansas State, I think.
Yeah.
So the good thing that happened, and this is what most people are talking about, getting the 6 seed instead of the 5, because that puts us in the bottom bracket, and it avoids middle until the championship. And plus, I think the games we have better matchups in the bottom bracket than we would with the top bracket. And Arkansas State's the 2 seed, and they're on the top of our bracket, so we would play them in the semis. But I like our matchup with them better than some of the other teams.
They've beat us twice, but it's still better than having to play MTSU in a semifinal.
Exactly.
You want to avoid them as long as you can.
Yeah, and I hope they're tired by the time you play them in the championship.
Or that maybe North Texas will slip up and beat them in that second round or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Honestly, if FAU goes ahead and beats Troy in the first round, I think FAU matches up pretty good against Arkansas State. I don't know if they'd get the upset, but I think that'd be a pretty intense game for a 2 and a 7 seed matching up. So, we've seen it in Hot Springs the past 2 years. The 6 and 7 seeds end up being the teams that kind of have the better luck. So.
It's all about that momentum whenever you go into the tournament.
I mean, if you get in there and we have a good showing against Monroe and can come out and get on top of South Al early in that next game, we can just ride that momentum as long as we can. So
hopefully we won't have to make 14-point comeback.
hopefully we'll avoid all that
sure
drama.
My blood pressure has recovered from last year in Hot Springs.
That made the games very interesting, though.
It's true.
It was a lot of fun. And if you don't have anything to do this weekend, you need to come on down.
You can hang out with me and Adam all down there.
We're going to be down there.
We're pretty fun, I think.
All weekend, and it's fun. There's always Western fans that go down there. It's fun to get to meet other season ticket holders and boosters
I've
and
made
people
a lot
like that.
Friends through Hot Springs. That's how I met Shane. Was in Hot Springs a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's kind of how we all.
Yeah. Was it love at first sight?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
No
disrespect to Shane. It took a little while to warm up, but it's always a good time. Just getting to hang out with Western fans for a couple weeks or a couple days, and
hopefully go down there and get a championship again.
I'd love to. I really think we've got a good opportunity to make another final.
I do too. And Western's made the semifinals like the last 8 or 9 years.
This would be 9 years if we get there again this year.
All right. Just real quick, so we're running out of time. I'd like to thank the Jasper Group for these tables and chairs.
Thanks, guys.
For the set.
As always.
They're awesome. So we really appreciate that. And also, we know we've been talking about basketball, but time's kind of running out. We kind of talk about the football schedule real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Exciting.
Sorry,
it came
we didn't
out.
mean to
No, it's okay.
step on your
toes.
toes.
It's all football, man. But the football schedule's out, officially released. First year under Bobby Petrino, so
Bobby P.
A lot of people salivating at the mouth at this. So, we've got, this is a very manageable schedule. August 31st, Kentucky and Nashville. Next week we go to Tennessee. September 14th at South Alabama, Sunbelt newcomers.
Yeah.
Then we have September 21st, big matchup with MEAC Juggernaut, Morgan State.
The Bears?
Yeah, those are the Bears, yes. And I think we might score 90 points on them. So it might be reminiscent of West Virginia Tech back in the day. So, of course, we have...
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
2008.
September 28th, home game with Navy. So, that's always going to be tough. You get those pesky triple option wishbone teams.
Should be a fun crowd, though, for that game.
Yeah, it should be.
But the next two are really big. It's going to be Thursday, October 3rd at Louisiana Monroe. That's going to be an ESPNU primetime game. So that'll be huge for us. And then the next week, it's going to be October 15th or October 16th, which would be a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Be a home game against Lafayette.
Wednesday game?
Sunbelt, baby.
Western fans hate Wednesday nights, so they better not do that.
But we got Louisiana Lafayette.
We all know that.
It's going to be either on ESPN or ESPN2, so that's going to be big for the program. And
that is going to be huge.
You talk about that. that's Bobby Petrino.
Is that coming after a bye week? Assume?
It's going to be. It's going to be a bye week. It's going to be wedged in between after the October 3rd game with Monroe. So we'll have a week off, and then it'll be a Tuesday or Wednesday game for that. So, that'll be big for ESPN or ESPN2 to be down here showing the game. So
Can we get Rod Gilmore on the coverage?
we'll try. We'll try our best. Let's email him, okay?
Might be him.
Of course, then after that, we got Troy on October 26th. Then November 2nd, we are at Georgia State, which will actually be at the Georgia Dome. So that's where they play. And then November 9th at Army, another non-conference game. And then November 23rd at Texas State. And we finish up November 30th at Arkansas State.
So many random games. I forget all these new teams in the Sun
Well,
Belt.
yeah. You got Georgia State and South Alabama. And then Texas State, they're the newbies. So...
Very manageable schedule.
Very manageable schedule, yes. So
last year's Sun Belt schedule was kind of tough, but I think we've probably got the good end.
We got to be happy with it right now.
Yeah, definitely a very huge possibility we could win 10 games easy.
Or 12.
Or 12.
12 and
13.
12
Go
and
bigger, go.
13 and 0, BCS champions. With this schedule, maybe not.
Give a quick shout out to the Lady Tops basketball team before we get cut off the air right here. They're down in Hot Springs too. They're the 3 seed in the tournament. Hopefully, they got a fairly manageable draw as well. So hopefully they can get things rolling.
That's good.
Coach Clark Hurd trying to go down there and get this championship.
And don't forget, if Western, either the men's or women's teams make it to Sunday in the Sun Belt tournament,
Which I think they're both going to.
WKU PBS right here will be carrying the game. So. Stay tuned. Of course, it'll be a Sunbelt feed, so you won't get Randy or Hal,
as good
unfortunately.
As Hal and Randy, but it'll still be all right.
That's whatever, though.
Oh, yeah, and I don't think they've done this in the years past. I think it was like $15, but Sunbelt.com is carrying the games.
Yeah, they're live streaming everything for free.
Yep.
So we won't be having a show next week either. We're going to go off the air.
No show next week for the Sunbelt tournament.
Watch us
we'll be in the championship game, so watch. All right, see you in 2 weeks.
Keep good records of any contribution you make regardless of the amount. For any cash contribution, you must maintain a record of the contribution.